Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode I'd like to speak about Rolex. But I don't want to bother you or bore you with nerd talk. What kind of in-house caliber in comparison to another caliber is such and such? No. I just want to answer the question here, what can Rolex do for you? And the other day I was in front of a Wempe boutique and I saw this line of people filled with very different kind of people, and I spotted let's say 4 types. And I will go through those 4 types and then you can say, oh yeah, that's me, and then you can hear my answer what Rolex can do for you. Let's begin. I've seen many kids, in fact. I've seen many kids, and with kid I mean this 20+2-year-old guy leasing car and highly influenced by rap and hip-hop culture, right? And he wants the Rolex to make a statement to get access to the vibrant rap scene in his town. And the headquarter usually is a club, and he want to get access he want in that club. And so he needs some items to show the bouncer that he is part of that group. Leasing car, well done. But he needs more. He needs, and this could be then the Rolex on his wrist, bling bling, and it says, I want to get in, I want to be a part of you. And so if you are a young person influenced by rap culture, you want to get in, you want to have access to that culture, and your question is, can Rolex help me with that? The answer is yes. By the way, if you think that this video is complete comedy, I have to disappoint you, it's dead serious. Second, business people, and partially they want the same thing like the kid. They want to have access. They want the Rolex as a form of business card, an easy to spot business card, but they are a little bit brighter. They want more. They want at the same time a good investment. Investment in the watch. You've heard right, correct. First part of the question, can Rolex help you? Can Rolex be a good business card on your wrist? Answer, yes. It is simple, it is superficial, but don't blame the messenger, please. If you are in a meeting room together with several people and there is this guy with an ascot and with a Tissot on his wrist, then you are like, oh, wait a second, my friend. But if there's the other guy with the Submariner on his wrist, then this is a very strong symbol. That guy has money. And more important, he is willing to spend the money, because we all know that the Submariner isn't worth the price tag. The fine watchmaking in the watch isn't the exact equivalent of the price. There's brand value behind it, and the guy says, I know that, but I just spent this kind of money on the watch, although I know it's not entirely worth it, but I do it because I can. And those are the people we want to make business with, right? Second part of the question, investment. Can a Rolex be an investment for you? And the past has proven yes. There are a lot of people who claimed that the Rolex bubble will burst. I was amongst them, and it never happened. It never happened. I mean, I'm convinced that the Rolex bubble will burst one day, but when is that day? I mean, it could be possible that the Rolex prices for some models climb next year and the following year and in 5 years, and a very, very famous economist said once, in the long run we're all dead. I should stretch that this is a highly serious video and not some kind of silly joke. I hope you get that, right? Next person is a shop owner. Shop owner with, let's say, big amounts of black market money at home. I knew that guy. He was the owner of, I don't know what kind of business it was, but I remember that he has always this roll of banknotes in his pocket, and he paid everything with that. Everything, really everything. He financed, he paid for his entire life. For everything between diamonds and grocery was paid with that roll. And then one day he wanted cash from the ATM. And he was in front of the machine, and then he realized no clue about his PIN number. He has forgotten his PIN number. No, what was it? Completely puzzled the guy, and then he went just back to his bankroll in his pocket. But the problem is the roll gets bigger and bigger and bigger if the business is good, and I hope this for you as well. And then you have this insane amount of cash at home, and maybe you don't want that. Maybe you just want to store your money in something. I mean, at the bank, not a good idea. Interest rates are down, and there are banks that charge you when you bring too much money in. And so why not store the money in the watch? You may ask now, what's with inflation? But the inflation in most parts of the Western world, whatever this is not so big. So don't worry about inflation. If you buy a wanted model, then you will not lose much money. You can sell it the following year or in 3 years, and it's very likely that you get your cash back, minus a very small fee maybe. And so good news for you as well, Rolex can do this for you. And then the normal guy was in the line, the normal guy who wanted to feel rich, at least sometimes, at least some days with this Rolex on his wrist. And the question is, can the watch do this for you? And the answer is absolutely yes, because you've paid something which isn't worth it, but despite that you paid your, let's say, 8 or 10 grand on the watch. And of course, then you can feel rich. But be prepared. It's very likely that you see some kind of strange behavior of your friends, because when they see the watch on your wrist, they see the Rolex, then they will ask, some of them will ask, oh, a Rolex, are you sure that this is a legit watch? Are you sure that this is not a fake? And then you say them, of course, no, I've bought it with box and papers. Everything's legit, everything's okay with it. Oh, but you sure know that they also forged box and papers and everything. How can you be sure that this is not a fake? And of course they tell the audience, they tell the restaurant, the club, everything. They just want to implement the connotation in their heads. You, Rolex, fake Rolex, douchebag. This is then the goal, and this is pure envy, I think, pure envy. And how to deal with that? Well, you could evolve a new mindset, and you can see envy then as something good, because if people envy you, then you have something, you've done something very desirable. And so, normal guy, yes, Rolex can do this for you. And then one person was not in the line. This was the watch aficionado, because bad news, if you ask now, can Rolex do this for me? Can Rolex put, let's say, the equivalent of 10,000 euros in fine watchmaking in the watch? Contains that watch really 10,000 euros or US dollars in fine watchmaking? The answer is no. You can buy the same materials, the same ingredients, the same quality, the same features from other brands for a fraction of the price. So if you're really that radical, then I'm afraid Rolex cannot do this for you, cannot be with you in that situation. Maybe you want to go with another brand, or you want to change your team, you want to change your club. Okay, and now I'm very curious, what can Rolex do for you really? If you have other answers than then please don't hesitate, just put it in the comments. And if you want to see the items which can make people with Ascots and Tissot navigators on the wrist happy, then please join me on Instagram. It's Caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and maybe until next time.